Alright, so basically I've decided to become one of those YouTube channels that just complains about every single new release. Because gaming apparently just fucking sucks nowadays. No, I'm just joking. But still, I've watched the Forza Horizon 6 trailer, the most recent one. Came out about a day ago, not even. And quite frankly, it just does not look good. And I do not understand why so many people are excited for this game. I genuinely do not and cannot understand. And I'm just gonna go through this trailer, pause a bunch of times, look at it, and basically talk about why I think it just kind of looks ass. So let's go. Opening shot looks fine, obviously it's just flowers, it's whatever. But as we keep going, there are a lot of things, and I don't want to completely shit about this game, first of all. I don't want to hate it just to hate on it. I've played Forza Horizon 4 and 5. I was a huge fan of 4, didn't like 5 as much, but I think most people can agree. But there's something about this game that simply looks off to me. And we'll get into why. First off, this, at first glance, looks amazing. Obviously looks amazing. You have these really nice trees, you have a bunch of leaves on the ground and everything. Already, now obviously this might be nitpicking already, the lighting on these, looks pretty flat, but it's whatever. It's whatever. This looks good, okay? Like, generally speaking, this looks good. This is a good looking shot, really nice vegetation and everything. Looks good. And this is the first time, 4 seconds in, when I thought to myself, this cannot be a 2026 game at max settings. Now I'm assuming that this is being run at the on PC. I would hope so. Like why would they choose to show a trailer running on a console when it looks worse? Now the preview build that a lot of people have been getting was running on the Xbox Series X on quality mode. So it looks good, but it's not gonna look quite as good as the PC version, though I would hope, or I would think, that this is running on the PC version. Even if it's not, even if this is running on the Xbox Series X at quality mode, how is this the quality mode? These reflections are simply bad. They're simply bad. For a 2026 game, this water looks bad. And there are going to be more examples of the water looking bad. And the main thing, immediately, the reflections. Where are the reflections? Now, I don't expect everything to be fully ray traced, but even simple screen space reflections should be here. You don't see them anywhere. These lights aren't being reflected anywhere. Right? You see a little bit of the red, like here in the water, sure. But none of this is being reflected. None of the streets, the city lights are being reflected. The ship isn't being reflected. Like, what is this? Genuinely, what is this? I don't know. This just immediately stood out to me as just not looking good. Just straight up, it just looks outdated already. But we keep going. This looks nice. It has some really nice ground textures here. A lot of the leaves. Like, you'll see this a lot, the leaves. I think they really put a lot of effort into these. Especially with the sakura trees, you'll see them everywhere on the roads. And this looks nice. Lighting is good, details are good, textures are good. It's nice. This top-down shot looks nice. It's mostly covered by fog, though. Can't really see much. But you'll see this game has very dense and quite a lot of vegetation. This shot. There's something about this shot that's just funny to me. And I think it has to do with... I mean, for one, just the presentation kind of looks like it's straight off GTA 5 to me. But also just the lighting under this car. I'm not talking about the shadows, right? The shadows are whatever. I'm talking about the lighting under this car. Anyone that has played a game at high settings with ray tracing, whether it be ray traced shadows, ray traced global illumination, will immediately see this is not any of that. This is not any of that. Now, I know that this game will have ray tracing, but regardless, the lighting in this game, and we will see way more of that, the lighting in this game is not on the level that it should be. Even if you don't use ray tracing, and I'm 99% sure the console versions don't use ray tracing, this just does not look good. You have some nice reflections, you know, and we will also see more of that. The reflections on the cars are very good. They are very good. It's just that essentially everything else, like they put so much focus on the cars, on the car models, which fair enough, it's like the main draw of the game. It's a racing game. But they put so much effort into these cars, making the cars look good and shiny and new and blah blah blah, that they forgot to really care about a lot of the rest of the environment, which is a shame. But for now, this still looks okay. This doesn't look great. This could easily be Forza Horizon 4, which, just as a reminder, came out in 2018. That was 8 years ago. And I actually have a screenshot that I will pull up. This. I took this like 2 weeks ago in Forza Horizon 4. You know, do I need to say anything? I don't know. I don't think I do. Like, the snow just looks worse here. It looks muddier. Like, the textures look muddier. They look more blurry. Here you have all these, like, it sparkles, you know, like snow does. Snow sparkles in sunlight if you look at it at certain angles. This doesn't really do that. Which, fair enough, maybe it's just, you know, even if we go full screen here, you don't really see that anywhere. The trees, if you told me these were the same tree models, I would believe you. There's essentially no difference. The vegetation looks more dense in Forza Horizon 4 in this case. The distance scaling, I don't know. Now, you could argue, well, this already almost looks photorealistic. Sure, it basically does. And then the question is, like, how do you improve on photorealism? It's difficult. But the problem is, and this goes beyond just the graphics, is that if you've already achieved photorealism, or basically photorealism, I'll just close these real quick actually. Then you need to improve on other things, right? You have photorealistic textures, you have great lighting, great vegetation, great everything. Okay, so then what do? You work on adding details in other places, such as rain effects. The rain effects on the windows, if you go in first person and you look at the rain, I don't have an example right now, but you'll see if you look at the trailers, they are the exact same as in Forza Horizon 4. They are unchanged. They've been the same since Forza Horizon 4 in 8 years. Maybe even Forza Horizon 3. I don't know. I haven't played that game. But I looked at Forza Horizon 2 recently. 2, not 3, 2. And it looked better. It looked better. Somehow. I couldn't tell you why. I don't know what they did. There's so many other racing games that have better rain effects. This is a multi-million-dollar game. You have to keep that in mind. This is a AAA game. They have a huge budget. They've been making these games for over a decade. They should be improving on those things, and they simply are not. They're doing the bare minimum, making the cars a bit shinier, adding a new map. Obviously, they have to, otherwise nobody would buy the game if it was the same map. But it's to the point where Forza Horizon 5 and 6 could have been a DLC to Forza Horizon 4, and everyone would have been happy. A map expansion, or like an alternate map. Because why is this a new game? Why did it take them so long to come up with this game? What did they change? Yeah, they readjusted some of the gameplay elements and everything, sure. But it's not enough. This is just not enough. it's at its core, it's still the same game with a slightly different map. It barely looks better, and yet, and this is the worst part, really, it's horrible. These are the recommended requirements for Forza Horizon 4. The recommended, not the minimum, the recommended. And with these specs, a GTX 970 or a 1060, 3 gigabytes, not 6, 3 gigabytes. This CPU, an i7-3820, you could run Forza Horizon 4 at essentially max settings, right? And it looks like this. Again, it looks like this with these specs. Now, this is Forza Horizon 6. And you will see the minimum, the absolute minimum requirements are higher than the recommended specs for Forza Horizon 4. Now the GPU is a bit better in here, but if you were running this CPU, forget it. Essentially, you can forget it. Or at least if you're running, even if you were able to run it, Forza Horizon 6 at minimum settings will 100% look worse than Forza Horizon 4 at max settings. And we aren't talking like, oh, it's using Unreal Engine 5, it's using all this new tech, this new light. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's simply unoptimized, clearly. Right? This isn't using ray tracing or anything. This is 1080p, 60 FPS, low settings. This isn't some kind of brand new engine that simply requires a lot more computing power. No, it's the same. It's the same. And it's running way, 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 way worse. For what reason? I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like I'm stalling way too much. So let's go. This looks nice. Here again, the reflections. I don't know. The reflections here in this car are really good, right? Like you can see the person reflected in the glass and on the car. And the streets on the left here, you can see reflected. Even the lights, right? Again, the reflections on the cars and the cars themselves, the materials, they look great. They look great. But then what is this? Right? Why can't you, if you have these insane system requirements, why can't you apply this to the rest of the world? How is that not possible? It's crazy to me. This as well, we can go frame by frame here. Again, the reflections on this Porsche, incredible. Genuinely. This Audi as well, incredible. It looks great. It looks great. And I mean that. But there's too much motion to really say anything here. But I'll compare this to something else later. Like you see how amazing this looks? It genuinely looks real, right? Earlier today I literally drove past a Porsche shop basically. Like a car dealer that only deals with Porsche. And it looks like that. 1-to-1 it looks like that. This looks photoreal. The cars themselves look photoreal. Yeah, I don't know, looks okay. Again, focus on the cars. Again, this looks great. All of this, you know, all the reflections and everything. Player models, character models, who cares, really? Who gives a shit? I don't know. And then we have the snow again. And one thing about the snow and the sand that I was kind of, I wouldn't say looking forward to, but I was wondering if they improved on it. The tessellation, in case you don't know what tessellation is when you're driving through like mud or sand or snow, and or even walking through it in like Red Dead 2, for example. If you've played Red Dead 2, you know how when you walk through snow, it gets displaced because your feet moves through it, so obviously it has to go somewhere. It hasn't, like from what I can tell at least, it looks the exact same as in Forza Horizon 4. Again, why? How? That was 8 years ago. Like the ratio from the amount of new computing power that this game requires from you, that this game wants from you, to what you actually get visually is just so disproportionately large. I don't know. Terrible. Genuinely just terrible. Also, this whole trailer, if you look at the individual frames, it has so much motion blur everywhere. It can be very difficult to really get any singular frames to compare. This right here, for example, this looks nice, you know? The lighting on this insane snow walls looks really good. Then here, we have these tires. Again, the lighting here, clearly not ray traced, clearly not anything, you know? I don't know. Like, you have these reflections, I'm assuming ray traced reflections on the cars and everything, and yet you can't put them on the chrome wheels. Again, it's, I don't know, it seems odd to me. Again, motion blur is just too crazy to really make anything else. But this looks good. Generally, I would say this looks good. Can go back a bit. Right, the lighting and the leaves and everything. Even though there's a lot of motion blur, you can see that the reflections are there and that there's a lot of vegetation density, which is nice. And then again, simple things. Well, simple, I call them simple because again, the system requirements and the amount of time that they've had are so insane that really it should have been a simple task for them. But smoke effects, or for example, smoke effects or leaves lying on the ground, these things still not properly being physics-based or being able to interact with them with like your car is so sad, you know? And this is something that I've talked about earlier, but if you've already achieved photorealism, how can you improve on it even further? And this is how you could have improved on it even further. By adding things like interactive smoke, you know, if you drift somewhere and then another car drives through that smoke, that it gets displaced, that gets thrown out, or if you drive over leaves on the ground, that they physically get moved. And now you might think, oh, well, they have that. No, it's just a particle effect. The leaves on the ground remain unaffected. Crimson Desert had that. Leaves flying around everywhere in the forests, and you were physically able to interact with them and move them around. And I don't know, it would have just made the world feel way more alive, way more interactive, way more real, even on top of already having photorealism visually, which we'll get into later, that even that's not really the case. It would have just made the game look a lot better, feel a lot better. Here, this is exactly what I mean. The leaves on the ground actually remain unaffected. None of these get moved. If you look at it frame by frame, none of these leaves actually move around. It's just a particle effect, just like the smoke, which just comes from the tires. This shot looks great. Genuinely, this shot looks great. Yeah, the cars, the reflections, everything, you know, the lighting looks really good. This as well, and I'll go back a bit. This looks really nice. You know, the reflections here look genuine, look really sharp, really good. And yeah, I don't know, like in this shot, for example, you could argue, yeah, this looks real. This looks for real. This looks great. And I would agree with you. But that's my main issue with this game, is that it looks inconsistent. Right? And I think that's almost worse than looking decent all the way throughout. You know, if you have a decent looking game and it looks consistently decent, I'd be like, okay, that's the level of visual fidelity that this game has, and I can get used to that. But if a game looks photoreal, like 50% of the time, and the other 50%, it looks like 10 years outdated, it just throws me off. It doesn't look good, right? And this is what this game is. It's inconsistent. character models, again, look fine, it's whatever, who cares. Same thing with the tires here. Don't want to focus on it too much, but it's clearly just not ray traced here. Or even if it's ray traced, it's like Forza Horizon 5 had ray tracing in quotes, but only in the Forza Vista when you were looking at your cars, not actually during gameplay. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. I'm pretty sure, again, I think that this is being recorded on the PC version with ray tracing. Like you can see in some of the reflections, I would be very surprised if it wasn't ray traced. But the ray tracing doesn't apply to all areas of the game, which is exactly what I think is happening here, which is a big shame. You know, again, you have these insane system requirements. I'll show you again, especially at 4K upscaled. Okay, not actual 4K, upscaled 4K. So probably 1440p with ray tracing, like native 4040p with ray tracing enabled. You would need a 5070 Ti. That is an insane requirement for ray tracing that's not even global. Like throughout the game, that's only applied to certain parts of the game. That is insane. Again, this looks good. The trees look really nice in this game, not gonna lie. Here as well, you can see the leaves being unaffected by the car driving through. It's a simple particle effect. They don't actually get moved, which is a shame again. This right here. Look at this on the left. And ignore everything else, just look at this on the left. And tell me this couldn't be like The Sims 4. Genuinely. I mean, these people, these NPCs, and it's not like there are hundreds of NPCs on the screen, while there are so many, it wouldn't really be feasible to have like shadows for every one of them. No, it's like 10, maybe like 12. And none of them have proper shadows. They just have like little blobs of darkness under them. Global illumination, ambient occlusion. What's that? Haven't heard of it. I don't know. We don't use that here, apparently, clearly. What the fuck is this? Okay. Genuinely, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's baffling, genuinely. You have Tokyo. Going back on this. You have Tokyo, right? Where were we? You decide to set the game in Tokyo. And like Tokyo is known for having like all of these little back alleys, all of these narrow streets, you know, being very walkable. And then you add all of these little walkable streets on the side that you can't really drive through, but you can just look at them, you know. And you fill them with bullshit. You fill them with nothing. Right? This just looks empty and sad and low quality. Which is just... what? Like... something about this just pisses me off. I don't know how else to put it, really. It just looks bad. It looks bad. It looks flat. The lighting in this looks extremely flat. It's uninteresting. It's... again, I wouldn't be saying this if the requirements were the same as Forza Horizon 4 or Forza Horizon 5 even. But they're not. Not even close. Not even remotely close. And again, I'm not even complaining because, oh, I can't run the game, so nobody should be able to run the game. No, I have these specs right here. I have these specs. Right? This is targeting 4K. If I'm running this at 1440p with like DLSS or something, I can easily turn on ray tracing and run the game at 60 FPS. Right? But this is just unacceptable. I shouldn't need this right here, which is over $1,500, almost like $2,000. Well, not anymore if you buy them now, but you know, for my games to look like this at max settings. This is a joke, a genuine joke. Let me keep going. And then again, you have this car. Wow, look at these reflections. Wow, this looks so good. Yeah, it looks good. Yes, it looks really good. But it's just this car alone. And it shouldn't just be the cars. Once again, you can't really see much here, you know. But right here, again, the lighting, it's just not good. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not good. Like, these glass windows, they kind of reflect it. Here they do reflect it. Here it looks really good. But then in other scenes, in this case, okay, I do think they actually reflect this. Yes, they do. This might actually be ray traced. But then you have other examples, or like this lighting indoors here. Why is it so bright? Where's this light coming from? You know, why is it so bright? Why is everything lit up? Why does everything just look so flat? Is what I don't understand. Unless there's direct sunlight or direct sunset or rain in this case, you know. This game just looks incredibly flat. Again, these rain physics they don't look bad. You know, that's the thing. They don't look bad, but they're just the same as in Forza Horizon 4. So really, who cares? This looks fine. Yeah, this looks good, actually. A lot of vegetation density, again. This looks good as well. And here we have probably my biggest issue with the entire game. And I know this has been mentioned before, I'm not the first person to point this out, and a lot of people don't care. I would actually say that most people don't care, but I do. And if you disagree, like, I don't know what to tell you, but you're just kind of wrong. The width of the streets in Tokyo, and I have been to Tokyo, multiple times. I lived in Japan for 7 months, so I actually know what I'm talking about. And you can just look at Google Maps. You don't have to have lived in Tokyo to be able to point this out. These roads, right, are way too wide. Right? They are way too wide. Look at how narrow this is. This is not a wide street. Look at this. Look at how much space there is in between these buildings. Where even is the building? I can't tell. Here it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could fit like one long bus, or like one of these buses you could fit like sideways on here. Here you could fit like 2 maybe. And it gets worse. It gets way worse. They put so much effort into designing Tokyo, right? Putting all these billboards on there, looking at all the buildings, and really trying to make the game feel like Tokyo. And yet they completely messed it all up by ignoring the actual scale of the city. Look at this, right? In Forza Horizon 6's version of Tokyo, this is extremely wide. This is a big street. This is like on the same level as this street right here. In reality, that's not even remotely the case. If you look at this is a big street. This is a pedestrian, like, walkway. Barely any cars. Oh, what the fuck. I guess this is the pandemic. Wow, this looks terrible. Jesus Christ. Anyway. 2019, yeah, that looks better. Barely any cars drive through here. Right? Yeah, we can drive through here, and sometimes there will be like 1 or 2 cars. But this is mainly for people to walk through. Right? And in here, it's such an incredibly wide street. This is a multi-lane street in the game. There's really not a lot of space at all in between these buildings. And here you can tell it's doubled, at least. This is at least doubled. Why? It simply changes the entire feel of the city. It changes the vibe of the city. I don't really like using that word, but that's what it does. You know, it just changes the vibe of the city, and it harms the atmosphere a lot for people that have actually been to Japan, that actually know what this should be. It just doesn't look the same at all. Forests look good. I don't know what else to say. The forests do look very nice. And that's about it. I don't know. To me, this game, it looks fine. Again, it looks, honestly, it does look good. Okay, it looks good. But then again, this game looks good. This is a good looking game. A really good looking game. And it needs this. Or if you want to really look at it this way, it needs this. Minimum. The minimum specs of Forza Horizon 6 are basically the recommended specs of Forza Horizon 4. And I just cannot get over the road width here. We can look at a few more examples. So far I have kind of ignored it because I knew that it was going to come up. Now, these are supposed to be, anyway, narrow mountain roads. Okay. This car can fit on this lane sideways. It can fit on here sideways. Now, we can just go ahead and look at a random mountain road. We can just do that. And we will quickly find out that that is not what Japanese mountain roads are like. You know, I mean, this is basically what we're talking about here. This is a tiny car. If we look at any decently normal sized car, right? You can put this on here sideways, maybe. And this is like maybe this long, right? This is not nearly as long as the Sylvia. All the roads, essentially all the roads in this game are anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 times wider than the real life counterpart. Which, oh, here we have a normal car. Do you see how, wait a second. Do you see how this car barely fits on this road? Which is normal, right? This is normal. This car barely fits on this road with a bit of space to the left, bit of space to the right. This car can fit on this road sideways. If you put this car sideways, it would block the entire traffic. Right? Cars would not be able to pass if you put this car sideways. That's the kind of like change in scale that we're talking about here. And honestly, I feel like I should have talked about this first because this is actually my biggest problem with the game. Graphics aside. Again, this is a small car and there's barely any space. And there are enough racing games out there set in Japan with a realistic scale, with a realistic road width, and they still work extremely well, right? If you want to drift through these streets, there's still more than enough space to do that, right? In drift zones, you don't have collision with other cars anyway. If you want to use this argument like, oh, but the traffic, the traffic would be too annoying to deal with when you're drifting through these things. Drift zones disable collision. All right, like that's not really a thing. That's not really a point of. That's really an argument. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, just in general, this feel of these narrow mountain roads, and you have these big trees on the side, or maybe these walls or mountains. This game does not reflect that atmosphere whatsoever, in my opinion. Because this is a highway. This is a straight up highway. Right? If you could literally just add another. You could just turn this into 2 lanes. This could be 2 lanes. Straight up, and it would work. It would work. It would be more to scale to the real life streets of Japan than what they currently have in the game. Again, just look at it. I don't think I have to show you more. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame. Again, the lighting on this looks good. Yes, the graphics on a surface level look great. If you just look at the cars, they look great. Some of these shots look great. Yes, but then you actually take a closer look, and you realize that, well, again, the game looks good. It looks good in general, but not 4070 Ti, 5070 Ti good. Not even close. Not even close. And if you disagree, I'm sorry, you are simply delusional. I don't know how else to say this. And yeah, I don't, again, I don't want to be like overly negative. I don't think that, oh, gaming is ruined, gaming's terrible, everything new sucks, and older games are better. I'm not that type of person. You'll see that I've uploaded a lot of Crimson Desert footage just recently. I think that was an incredible game. It had a few flaws, sure, but overall it was great. And I do play a lot of new games in general. And I love new technology. I love when, like, I love ray tracing, DLSS, stuff like that, you know. I'm open to new things. But what I'm not open to is new games looking like their almost decade-old predecessor and requiring a 3 times more expensive PC to be able to run it. I'm not a fan of that. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.